Hi folks, it's Mike Murphy, and today I'm going to show you the exact process that I took to replace Pretty Links, which is a WordPress plugin to create custom short links, to Shlink, which is a self-hosted custom URL shortener that I installed on my hosting or VPS. I am in the process of building a new website. My old website, or my current website, mikemurphy.co, has been on WordPress for over 10 years. My new website, mikemurphy.ai, is on Astro. It is not even close. But my favorite and most useful plugin that I've ever used on WordPress is called Pretty Links. Pretty Links allows you to create custom branded short URLs or short links that you can point to anywhere, like your affiliate links or your social media channels, using your own domain. Here is an example of a pretty link. This is for YouTube. So I created this pretty link so it has my branding, mikemurphy.co, and when somebody clicks on the link, it is going to take them to my YouTube channel. The target URL is the destination address. Where do you want the pretty link to redirect to? So in this case, I want the pretty link to redirect or to open up my YouTube channel. So that is the URL of my YouTube channel. So the pretty link is the full custom URL or the short link that you create. All of my pretty links start the same with the mikemurphy.co, and the part that you customize is the end. This is known as the slug. It's the part after the / at the end. So in this case, mikemurphy.co /YouTube is going to redirect people to my YouTube channel. So I can click this to copy it, open up a web browser, paste in, tap return, and that is going to open up my YouTube channel. When I decided to move my website from WordPress to Astro, one of the first things I thought of was, what am I going to do about pretty links? That is the most important thing on my WordPress site, as many of my pretty links actually generate income for me. They point to affiliate links. I do not want all of my pretty links to break when I move my website from WordPress to Astro. Well, I could not be happier with the tool that I discovered to replace pretty links and to create branded custom short links using my own domain, mikemurphy.ai. And that tool is called Shlink. Now, I do think it's a cool name, but I do have a little trouble saying Shlink out loud. Sounds kind of funny. But the tool itself, Shlink, is awesome. So some of the deciding factors of why I chose Shlink: it's free and open source, it's Docker friendly, runs clean on your hosting or VPS, super easy to deploy since it's in the Docker catalog, it has a web UI so you can create your short links right in a web browser. You also get analytics, QR code generation, a REST API. You can use multiple domains. There's link expiration, password protection. Here is the exact process that I used for the migration from Pretty Links to Shlink. Phase 1 of the migration from Pretty Links to Shlink was to export all of my Pretty Links from WordPress to a CSV file. One of the first things you discover when you first start using Pretty Links on WordPress: you can add new Pretty Links for free, but nearly every other thing on Pretty Links requires an upgrade to the paid Pretty Links Pro version. And that includes importing and exporting your Pretty Links. Bummer. Pretty Links Lite, or the free version, cannot access import-export. Now that didn't surprise me one bit, but I wasn't going to give up that easy. The workaround: to export all of my pretty links, all I did was open up my trusty Claude browser extension. I just typed in a prompt and said, Claude, please export all of my pretty links and export all of the slugs and put them in a CSV file. Claude said, no problem. In a matter of minutes, Claude generated this CSV file. One column had all of the pretty link titles. The next one had all of the target URLs, or where the pretty links were redirecting to. Then it had all of the custom URLs, so that's just my mikemurphy.co branding. and then the last column had all of the slugs. And to make it easier to organize all of my pretty links and Shlinks, I imported the CSV file created by Claude into a Google Sheet. Phase 2, install Shlink in a Docker container on the VPS. Now, Hostinger makes it really easy to install Shlink. You can go to the Docker Manager catalog, just do a search for Shlink, and there you'll find it. Click select, and all you need to do is click deploy, and Hostinger is going to install it for you in a Docker container. For me personally, I use Claude Code whenever I want to install apps and Docker containers on my VPS. I created a skill for Claude called VPS Docker. That way every single install is done the exact same way. Claude even sets up the domains and makes sure that everything's working properly. Takes seconds, and that is how I installed Shlink. Claude Code also took care of phase 3, which is to set up the Traefik labels and subdomain in the Docker Compose YAML file of Shlink. Once you install your Shlink Docker container, whether you do it yourself through the VPS Docker catalog or use Claude, you'll find your Shlink Docker container in the Docker Manager under Projects. There you can see Shlink and click on Manage. I'll go down to the YAML editor. This opens up the Docker Compose YAML file. This is where you set up the Traefik labels. The Traefik labels is how you set up custom domains and your SSL certificates. Your environment box might look different, but this is where you're going to define the variables that you see in the Traefik labels. So whenever you see these variables like subdomain, domain, you define what those values are in the environment box. It's also where you're going to put your initial API key that you need to set up Shlink, as well as your short domain that you're going to be using. The short domain is the first part of your Shlink. So for me, all of my Shlinks are going to start with go.mikemurphy.ai, and then I'll have a / and a custom slug. Phase 4 was to configure the DNS and SSL. My domain registrar for mikemurphy.ai is Cloudflare, so I went to Cloudflare to configure the DNS settings. On Cloudflare, first, I open up my custom domain, which is imurph.com. I added 2 A records. The first A record was shlink.imurph.com. That goes to the Shlink API. It doesn't actually open up a web page, but that is necessary in order to use Shlink. And then I added the Shlink admin, so it's shlinkadmin.imurph.com. That takes me to the web interface so I can interact with Shlink and create custom links. You point both of these to the IP address of your VPS. And I also needed to create my Shlink short domain. And for me, I am using go.mikemurphy.ai. So to do that, I edited the DNS settings for mikemurphy.ai. I added an A record. The name was Go. I pointed it to the IP address of my VPS. Phase 5. Phase 5 is to set up Shlink in a web browser and add the initial API key. The first thing I did was test my subdomains to see if they were working. So the first one, the shlink.imurph.com, that's going to the API key, or the database that actually manages all of the Shlinks that you create. So if everything is working, this should not actually take you to an actual page. So when I tap return, you will see in the browser it says page not found. So that is actually telling me that that link is working properly. To access the Shlink web interface, so you can set up Shlink, create new Shlinks, manage all of your Shlinks, you're going to use the admin subdomain. The way that I set up Shlink for the first time, I opened a web browser, I entered my admin subdomain, which is shlink-admin, plus my domain, which is imurph.com, tap return, and that took me to the Shlink web interface. And this is where I'm going to go every time I want to create Shlinks and use all that Shlink has to offer. To set up and use Shlink for the first time, you need to add a server. You can get to the server page if you go in the top right, click on servers, click on manage servers, and you're going to click plus add a server. Your server name can be anything you want, but here's the really important thing. Remember that URL subdomain that we set up that went to a 404 error page? Well, that's going to be your base URL. So what you do is you click plus add a server, enter any name you want for your server. You're going to enter in that base URL. That's that first subdomain. For me, it was shlink.imurf.com. And then you're going to put in the initial API key in this field right here. And you're going to click create server. And then whenever you sign in, you're going to see your server. If you have multiple servers set up, you'll see them all listed here. And just click the one that you want to enter. And now you're in the main interface for Shlink. The last phase 6 of this migration process from Pretty Links to Shlink was to import the CSV file with all of the pretty links that I exported from WordPress, and then to add tags for organization purposes. There is no import button in the web interface of Shlink for you to import the CSV file. It's set up so you import things using the command line or the terminal or the API. But remember, Shlink and the Shlink database is installed on your VPS. So I just connected Claude to my VPS over SSH. I gave Claude the CSV file with all of my pretty links, which Claude actually created in the first place, and I asked Claude to import all of the links into Shlink for me. Claude Code said no problem. And while I'm in there, Mike, I'm going to create a nice tagging system for you. I'm going to tag all of your new Shlinks so you can keep everything organized. Shlink is now fully up and running on my hosting or VPS. So whenever I want to create a new custom short link or manage my existing short links, all I have to do is open up a web browser. For me, I'm going to go to shlink-admin.imurf.com. Now, I set up two-factor authentication and added extra security, so I'm safe. I just sign into my Shlink. You can't sign into mine. On the landing page of Shlink, you'll see your server listed right in the center. Just click to enter. You'll be on the overview page. You've got settings and servers in the top right. You've got analytics on the top. There's a quick menu to create a short URL. You can also create short URLs over here to add more customization options. You get a list of all your URLs. You can see all the tags. You can see analytics. There's options here. You can export all of your Shlinks to a CSV file. You can manage and add tags and manage your domains. The main migration from Pretty Links to Shlink is done. But there is going to be one more thing that I need to do to close the loop, and I'm going to show you this in a future tutorial because I haven't yet done it myself. Once I officially move my old website, mikemurphy.co, to my new Astro site at mikemurphy.ai, then what I need to do is forward or redirect all of the old pretty links, so the mikemurphy.co, so they forward or redirect to the new Shlink. That way, when somebody clicks on an old pretty link with my old URL, it's going to forward them to the new Shlink URL. And that was the exact process that I used to migrate from Pretty Link to my new favorite custom URL shortener, Shlink. My name is Mike Murphy, your AI handyman. Cheers.